Good morning. Once again, we're studying Raymond Hollywell's Working with the Law. And I would draw your attention to this little poem that you'll find on page 60. It's called The Promised Land. No more shall I look to the far skies for my Father's loving aid, since here upon earth his treasure lies, and here in is his kingdom laid. No more through the midst of things unknown I'll search for the promised land. For time is the footstool of his throne, and I am within his hand. The wealth that is more than finest gold is here, if I but ask, and wisdom unguessed and power untold are here for every task. The gates of heaven are before my eyes. Their key is within my hand. No more shall I look to the far skies, for here is the promised land. Isn't that wonderful? And it expresses the concept that I hope everybody has gotten from this, that you are a child of God, made in the image and likeness of God, and imbued with all of the power, presence, and wisdom of God, because there is no place where that is not at full speed. So it's there. The problem is you have to adjust yourself to it because of all of the other trash that you've had poured in over the top of it in your lifetime. You've been bombasted with the news from TV. It used to be for me radio. I mean, you'd get every night and listen to the 10 o'clock news, and boy, I'll tell you what, it was always, there's bad news tonight. And we'd sit there, the world's coming to an end. Of course, they were fighting World War II at that time, so I guess it was probably pretty close. But we had a lot of things told to us that seemed true because they were in appearance they were actual, but in truth they did not exist as the fear, the anxiety, the shame, the guilt that was being portrayed to you for you to accept. Why else would somebody portray guilt or greed to you if they didn't want you to accept a little bit of it or feel terrible about it so that you yourself would suffer because of somebody else's greed? Yeah? Well, anyway, that's not the lesson for today. The lesson today is the law of attraction. And up at the top it says, to desire is to expect is to achieve. And I'd like to say that in a different kind of way. As a matter of fact, it became a part of my 4 o'clock in the morning awakening. I woke up, I was there, I was fully awake, and I thought, well, only one way to get back to sleep, and that's to try to think. Thinking is so boring that, it puts you back to sleep. So I started to think, and I thought, okay, desire. What is desire? What in the world is desire? Well, he says it's to expect. But, I'm not so sure that that's correct. If you were to look at it from a purely metaphysical, spiritual point of view, to desire is to give for. So desire is for giving. Desire is for giving. It's not for you getting. It's for you giving. And that's where the joy of life is in the giving. You desire to make other people happy, to give them the advantage, to believe that they are good people, believe that they have a future, believe that the world is okay, believe that God is on their side. That's what you desire, and that's the purest kind of desire that there is. On the other hand, you do want something, don't you? So you think about that, and you think, well, now how in the world am I going to change this desire into something that I can also participate in? The answer becomes, strangely enough, thanksgiving. Giving thanks. You give for, and then you give thanks.
You accept back.
See? So in truth, if you are to live the full, harmonious life that you want to live, you're going to desire that everybody, no matter who they are, receives the very best there is in this world, that all of their desires, all of their cares, all of their worries are baseless, and they're going to get what they want. It's so strange to think in terms of, you're going to desire that people as bad as Hitler or somebody like that should receive their good? Think about it for a minute. If Hitler had had truth training, would he have gone off on the kind of tear that he went on? Because I believe that in the beginning he was actually concerned about the people of Germany. But his head got turned with the power and the majesty of the Führer type of thing. And it took him from the desire to be of assistance to his people, the desire to rule, to have great power himself, to do these. In the beginning, he was pretty smart.
He was very smart, and when he was denied entrance into the art school in Vienna, and when he was denied going to school there, is when he went bonkers.
Well, I'm not sure he went bonkers, but he did pretty close. Yeah. But anyway, you see what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to think in terms of desiring the very best for that. But I'll tell you what, Margaret and I in our prayers every night have for as long as I can remember, we have included as the latter part of our prayer chain that we desire that every person in the world should come to understand and accept who they truly are as a child of God. Can you imagine a world in which that was the way? My goodness sakes alive. There would be no need for people to get their highs on something else. They'd get their high out of being happy, healthy, prosperous. So in a very real way, I think you could change that statement. To desire is to forgive. No. The desire is to give for. Yes. And to receive is to give thanks. You're giving. No matter what you're doing, you're giving. You give thanks and you receive. Okay? Does that make sense? I hope so. He says the underlying law that regulates supply in the world of effects has two important phases. One is desire and the other is expectation. These mental attitudes represent lines of attractive force, the former being the positive phase and the latter the negative phase, which phases must be complied with to obtain the best and greatest results. The first phase of desire embraces a positive process of attraction. And if you define desire the way that I've tried to define it here, you can see how it would become very attractive. Because here you are, you're desiring the best for everybody. You're being the friend of everybody in the world. You're being the peacemaker. You're doing all of these things. Doesn't that make you attractive? Supposed to. Except for people who aren't attractive themselves. Okay. When an individual earnestly desires a thing, he sets up a line of force that connects him with the invisible side of the good desired. Should he weaken or change in his desire, the particular line of force is disconnected or misses its goal. But if he remains constant in his desire or ambition, the good demanded is sooner or later realized in part or entirety. The principle involved is that you cannot long or yearn for anything unless it already exists. If not in form, then in substance, and desire is the motive power for calling it forth into visible appearance or physical effect. The guy that invents something, first of all, had an idea, and he wanted to give that idea form, shape, and power. He gave those things to it, and therefore it became. Okay. It's no use to desire a thing unless you expect to get it, either in part or in full. Desire without expectation is idle wishing or dreaming. You simply waste much valuable mental energy in doing this. Desire will put you in touch with the inner world of causes and connect you by invisible means with the substance of the things desired. Then continuous expectation is necessary to bring it into reality in your life, much like the pull of gravitation in the physical realm. Expectation is a drawing force of the mind which acts in the invisible realm. All I'm saying is that you need to have the go and the come. Both. We all know that many people desire good things which they never expect nor make any real effort to grasp. Oh, that's too bad, isn't it? I mean, there are folks that go around saying, I really want this, I really, really want this, and they cut themselves off from it by not doing anything about it or doing too much for it or being obnoxious in it or whatever. But although they truly, truly want it, they trip themselves on their own petard, I guess it is. Huh? They keep it from happening by the way they approach it. And that's anything. I don't care what it is. Everybody has that to a degree. I know I've been there several times in my life when it became clear to me that somehow or other I was being the one that was the stumbling block for whatever it was I wanted, because I didn't want it enough. I didn't want it enough. I wanted somebody else to do it and give it to me. Have any of you ever suffered from that little malady? Oh yeah. I mean, right now we got a several million people in this country that just want it, but they want somebody to give it to them. They don't want to have to do anything for it, except maybe go down and get it, just get it, laid it out for them. I'm told that that's how the Roman Empire was demolished and how every other empire that's ever existed died, because too many people got to the point of wanting something for nothing and expected it, and that's what they got. Nothing. Not the something, but they got the nothing. I hope that's not happening to this nation. I hope we have this awakening that we have here that says, by George, if I want something, I have to give something for it. Right? What am I going to give for it? My energy, my intelligence, my hands if necessary, my mind. I want to give myself to this thing so that this thing comes out to be good instead of halfway. Yes, you got it. You understand? You understand what I'm saying there, right? Okay. We meet people who expect things they don't want, and then they get it. How many of you have ever gotten in that kind of position? I've been there so many times. Have you ever had that happen to you? What happened? What didn't you want that you got?
Can't tell.
What? What?
Can't tell.
Oh.
You have to kill you if you did, huh?
Well, how do you keep that from happening? How do you make that not happen? Oh, come on.
Switch the focus.
Huh?
Yeah, it's-
What? What'd you say?
The focus.
Switch the focus? Oh, absolutely. Switch the focus. Instead of focusing on what you don't want and talking about that and worrying about that and running around looking around, oh, when's this going to happen to me? Oh my goodness. You say, hey, this is what I want and I'm going to do this and this and this to get it. Which makes you happiest? The former or the latter? You see? The truth is so simple, it's ridiculous. We burden ourselves with all these other ideas that we come up with. I know people. What's the name of the woman? That woman that graduated from the University of Perpetual.
Oh, yeah, guilt.
What?
Our Lady of Perpetual Guilt.
Our Lady of Perpetual Guilt. Have you ever been to that school? You know those people? Oh my goodness, they are so much fun. Well, anyway, he says that you get what you don't want, and that proves that the expectation is a powerful, attractive force. Even though you don't want it, you know it's coming. Well, it is. It is. How many guys have decided they were going to marry that pretty girl? And whew, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
She turns to you someplace and says, you know, I don't like you anymore. I still remember that day just as clearly. Oh, it was ridiculous. I was in the 7th grade. And I'd been friends with this young lady for a long time. She was my friend, I thought. She sat behind me. She tapped me on the shoulder and says, I don't like you anymore. And that was the last time I ever, that was it. It was just over.
I still haven't forgotten it.
Oh, you ain't kidding. Well, I've forgiven her, if that's what you mean. And it turned out she did like me, but not in the way that I had in mind at the time. It wasn't you.
No.
None of you have ever had a thing like that happen to you? If you expect constantly that which you persistently desire, your ability to attract becomes irresistible. Desire connects you with the thing desired, expectation draws it into your life. This is the law. However, you can sabotage yourself even in that kind of situation because you want something so badly that you begin to be obsessed with it. And you cannot see what you are doing as being an obstruction to what you want. And so you deal with the unseen obstruction. But since you can't see it, you can't touch it, you can't understand it, so it just stays there. And you're still trying to fight your way through it. And it doesn't work. You have to change your focus. You have to change your focus. Desire connects you with the thing desired. Expectation draws it into your life. But there are a lot of little obstacles in the way there, if you know what I mean. Should you be oppressed by poverty, hardship, limitation, or lack of any kind? If that's you, Why not just begin to operate this law of mind and gradually command more and more of the good of the form of better things and improve conditions? Why not just do that? Sounds simple, doesn't it? Anybody tried that lately? I hope everybody's saying yes. I hope so.
It's hard, but I am trying.
What?
It's hard, but I am trying.
Oh, yes, indeed. And here's what he says that most people would disagree with. It is your right to be happy and free.
That's what's trying to get.
It is your right to be happy. Why am I not happy? If it's my right to be happy, why am I not happy? Why do those people get in my way of my happiness? Why are they picking on me? Why they doing no dirty things to me?
Everybody's picking on me.
Huh?
Everybody's picking on me.
Yes, that's right, that's right.
Huh?
So he says the thing you need is you got to learn more of the unseen laws of mental creation and the marvelous possibilities dormant within our being. Nature does not deprive us of any good and desirable thing. Nature doesn't. It provided us with the mental equipment and inner power to acquire and enjoy all the essential good to ensure a happy and worthwhile existence. The problem with that statement is that so many people lose sight of what a good existence is. They set their desires so oddly that they forget what they really want out of that desire. If you desire a thing, you're desiring an effect. If you desire happiness, you're desiring a way of life, a joy of life. So you desire happiness and go find things that help you in that happiness by making other people happy, by giving for that. If I'm going to be happy, I need to give happiness. All some people give is hell. You know? What?
And hot checks.
And hot checks? Oh.
We're supposed to hear that.
Well, it's kind of like us getting involved with the scams that we got involved with. You know, people, I mean, we wanted to be happy, so we wanted all that money. Well, yeah, absolutely, you know. We had plans for giving half of it to the church, you know, and going off and doing all those other things. We were really going to do it. And they didn't have that in their mind at all. They had it in their mind that they were going to take our money and go be happy with our money. Whew.
But you gave us something much more. You and Margaret are here.
Yes.
You're teaching us truth, you're living truth, and there's nothing better that you can share with somebody but your loving time. So we'll take that over your money.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you see, that's what we have done. I mean, if you think we're making a fortune being here, you're sadly mistaken. What?
We ended up with all of it.
Except the money. To pay them with.
Fill his gas tanks.
Application is the test of adequacy, as knowledge is of little or no value unless it's used to practical ends. Here's a simple method in the beginning for using the power of mind to increase the amount of good in our lives in conformity with the law. Form a clear and well-defined mental picture of what you want. There's a treasure map out there on the front desk. It gives you the steps for getting down to what you truly want. You don't start out with what I truly want. You start out with the idea that God is good, Oh, I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes, but you got the picture. So you don't just start out saying, well, I want to be President of the United States. Why would I want to be President of the United States? So I can have my reputation ruined by everybody and his brother? So that I can be shot at because of things? No, you see.
That's one way to look at it.
Huh?
That's one way to look at it. What's the focus?
Well, power is a very great bait.
Aphrodisiac.
What?
Aphrodisiac.
Oh, well, yeah, true, that's true. Yes,
Well,
yes.
it is. I mean, that
But some people use it so nicely, and it's kind of interesting. This morning in Parade magazine, there's an article about the Shark Tank. Have any of you watched the Shark Tank?
every week, yes.
Well, one of my favorites on that is a guy here in town, Mark Cuban, and you read what he says about things and what he's doing with his money. And while he wants to make some money out of the thing he wants to do is to get a product out there that's good for people. And he really means that. It's crazy, but he does. He's using his money in a very wonderful kind of way to make life better for a great number of people. And I think that's pretty much covers the board for those other people that are there too. Now they want the money, they want the thing, but I think it's because they want to see people succeed rather than fail. That's good, isn't it? Yeah. I'd love to see every one of you succeed in every way possible, but the one thing I want you to succeed in is being happy. I don't care what you do. I don't care how you do it and what method you use. I just want you to be happy. And you can be. It's perfectly okay for you to be happy. Some people don't believe that. Margaret's mother used to talk about a minister that she had, and she thought he was such a wonderful, wonderful man, a holy man. Why, he just never smiled. That made him holy. He was always sad for people, sad for things that were going on. He was a sad man, and that made him happy.
And holy?
And well, holy too, yeah. Well, he probably was holy nuts. No.
His picture's on the wall at Baylor Hospital, and I saw it one day, and I thought, he really didn't smile.
Yes.
It was real sad looking.
Okay, so here's a simple method. Form a clear and well-defined mental picture of what you want. Don't specify its particular form or how it shall come. I want a teal green 2014 Cadillac GTS or whatever the number is. That's what I want. I want it. And I want those funny looking wheels that are small, that are flat down there, and the hubcaps have got to go backwards and forwards so that they look like they're going frontward, and boy, it's got to be that, and it's got to have leather, and it's got to have the heat for the seats, and a cooling for the seats in the summertime, and let's see. What else? Oh, yes, and I had to have a backup camera so I know when I'm going to run into something. And I need something that tells me when somebody's going to hit me up in front there. And I see, I got all that. So that's what I need, and that's what I got to have. Now, if you're going to do that, somebody's going to offer you a Buick that has everything you wanted, but it's a Buick. It's not my Cadillac. I want my Buick. I want my Cadillac. I can't stand this Buick. There are lots of people like that.
I just want something to get me from
Huh?
I just want something to get me from point to day.
Why? Because a car is a means of conveying oneself from one point to another, and as long as it does it reasonably well, then that's the thing you need. My little fusion sits out there, and you know what? It's been now 6 years, I guess, I've had that thing. And I go in and turn the key, and it starts, and it runs, and it'll go as fast as I want it to go, no matter where it is. Sometimes that's too fast. But it's very serviceable in every sense of the word. And you know what? We could afford a newer one. We could. We have a little money in the bank. We could do that. Yeah. We're not going to do that. Might interfere with our tithing.
So then you wouldn't get any money at all if you didn't tithe.
You mean from this source? Yeah, okay. This is getting a little too close. Okay. Let's see. Don't specify, but simply desire firmly and gently the greatest amount of good in that direction, whatever that is. Avoid a tensed state of mind or any condition of strain or anxiety. And it's better to do your mind picturing in odd moments when it's quiet and restful in the condition. Let the idea or plan of good unfold in a vivid mental picture, much the same as though it were a moving picture upon a screen. Have you ever done that? That's really fun. It's hard. In the beginning, you can't, it's really difficult to see this thing going, because most of us are pretty static when we think, we see a thing, and that's that thing, and it's sitting there. But sometimes you can get this thing going and do what you want to do. I tell you what, flying is one of those. You close your eyes and fly, and see the trees below you, and the birds flying alongside you in formation. You do that. That is the most. You do that all the time, don't you? Well, no, it really is. You ought to try it sometime. Think about flying. That you have no more weight. You have no mass. You're just flying. You're just there. And you're carried by the wind, or you use a little power to move yourself. Not wings, just your hand. That's all you need. And you just fly, go. If you're restless at night, let me tell you, there's nothing better than taking a little flight of fancy. And you just watch yourself, and you feel yourself in the air like that. You'd be surprised. You wake up, you think, my gosh, I've been asleep about 20 minutes, and it's been 8 hours,
I used to do that when I was a little girl, but it was my genie blanket.
Here's your what?
My genie blanket.
Your genie blanket. Oh, yeah, right, the genie blanket. Oh, yes. Oh, a lot of us did that because of Aladdin, yeah. Oh, yeah, well, didn't you?
No.
You didn't? Oh my goodness, you just missed a lot. There's another thing that you can do, and that is that you can put yourself in a little boat, little canoe or a little boat, and gently go down the stream and see the stuff that's along the stream, and whatever it happens to be, just and listen to the lapping of the water against the side of the boat. I tell you what, if you listen to the lapping of the water on the side of the boat, you're asleep. Yeah. I mean, it's just that fast. Just that fast. Oh, you've never done that? Oh.
I'm going to try it tonight.
Go in your imagination down to the dockside, just on the lake.
Especially as a kid. No, I didn't, but
That would help us raise
that's cool.
Go down by the lake in your mind.
Yeah.
And get into a tin rowboat, metal that's got metal sides on it.
Canoe.
Huh?
Like a canoe.
Yeah, canoe. And just get in it and lay down in it. Lay down in it. and listen to the water lapping against the side of the boat.
I have one of those sound machines.
Get a sound machine and see that in your mind. See it. See that thing you do. See it in your mind, and boom, you're gone. You're gone.
Saved you from the bank as
Okay.
you go by.
Well, be careful though, you fall asleep, I've done that and get sunburned.
No, I'm not saying doing this in reality, although I did it as a kid. And you're right, you can sure get...
No, I was what do you call a child that was, I didn't get to experience a
I'm
lot
trying
of
to
that.
get some childhood memories out of it, because I was raised next to creeks, rivers, lakes. And
Oh,
when I understood babbling brook,
Oh.
because in the middle of the night, when there's no sounds, that brook will sound like it's babbling.
oh, absolutely. It's wonderful. And if you just zero in on that, you see what you do when you zero in on that sound? You're not seeing anything else, you're not hearing anything else, you're not anywhere else, you're just right there. And all those worries and all those cares just sort of drift away. And that's good stuff.
Can't get my
It's also a wonderful time to think about what it is you desire. It's a wonderful time to say, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? And I'll tell you what, some of you think you've already had it. But I'm here to tell you that I'm still looking for what I'm going to do for the next 20 years. And it's frustrating at times, you know, it really is. But it's okay. Because there's so much good that needs to be done, and I just got to find the one that's going to do the most. And maybe this is it. I don't know. You know. So here we go. It is better to do your mind picturing in odd moments. Let the idea or plan of good unfold in a vivid mental picture, much the same as though it were a moving picture upon a screen. Don't force the thought, as pressure causes congestion and confusion. The calmer and more peaceful you are, the better the result. That's the reason why you can use these sounds and these things to take your mind. I like to think of it, and basically my technique is not your technique, but it's my technique, is to simply sit and say to all of those other things that have been in my mind, I just say, would you please move over to the side of the mind? Just go right over there. You're still here. I'm not running you off. I just want you to be at peace for a while. And then you move over there, and you move over there. So what I got in the middle of me is nothing more than just this one idea that I had, and I can think about that. Most of the time, I'm asleep by then. But even in my sleep, I'm still working on the problem. Are you working on a problem when you're asleep? I am. I think a lot of people are. They don't know it because they didn't go to sleep with this, you know, with some kind of directed desire. It's fun. I mean, gosh, take a trip. You ever take a trip at night when you go to bed? Oh, just get there, and where's it we want to go today? Mars? Hey, that'd be good. It's a little hot up there, a little cold up there. But I can take it because I've got this thing on that keeps me from being hot or cold. So I'll just go up there and see what's at Mars. Ooh, it's a long journey, isn't it? Yeah, you know, by the time you take the journey, you're not even halfway there before you sleep. Take a trip. Take a trip. Do a good deed. Do something that makes your mind center upon that which is good. And what that will do for you is to give you ideas about what you can do and what you should be doing, and you know, it's good stuff. Proceed to nourish your desire or want with a calm, confident conviction that what you seek will come. As you persist in this state of mind, the good desire will tend to gravitate toward you. It may come almost at once, as in respect to little things or less consequence, like an invitation, a book, a meeting, a friend, a Peter, may come by degrees over a period of time, according to the clearness and strength of your demand and the particular form of good desired. In the meantime, be reasonable and practical and do what you can to promote its coming. Aha. In other words, there ain't no free lunch. When there's something to be done, you do what you can in that period of time, and don't fret over the fact that you didn't get it finished. You did what you could, and now you're going to do some more the next time, and you may even have to wait until the idea strikes your mind again. Sometimes we put things off because there's nothing we can do about them at that particular moment. Did you know that? When you can't do something about something at a moment, you just say, okay, I'll set that off on the side, and as soon as that comes back again, we'll work at it again. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to get all confused about it. I'm not going to get mad about it. I'm just going to wait a little while, have patience. Okay. You read this next sentence. I have little confidence in the Lord answering the one who rocks in an easy chair and waits for the desired thing to be placed on his lap. Somewhere it says the Lord helps those that help themselves. Yes, action spells results. This supplements your mental creative process and provides the channel for its expression. Then leave the results to the law. Oh, this is the hardest part of all of it. You set the thing in motion and you go pull up the plant every day to see if it's still growing, and it's dead. As you do your part, the law will do the rest. How well or how accurately you cooperate with the law determines the duration of time apparently required to bring forth your supply. Time is a period created by man. Time is a creation of man. Do we all understand that? That there is no such thing as time? Somebody one day said, things pass here, and we got to call that something. It's a T-I-M-E, time. No, they didn't have that kind of language then when they started that. But it came down to time. What time is it? Well, right now it's 10:19. What does that mean? I don't know. 10:19, is that PM or AM? Oh, in this case, I know that it's AM because the sun is shining. Let's see, all right? But when is this? What year is this? What day is this? What century is this? What do you call this millennium is this? What is it? We have to have some way to mark that. And you know the way we mark it? Somebody said, let's make a calendar. I don't know who it was first that did. Some say it was down yonder in South America. Some say it was the Egyptians who marked it with things in the dirt. But I'll bet you something. I'll bet you that those people that lived, now be careful, those people that lived 6 million years ago, I'll bet they had some way of reckoning time, because they had to know when to go hunting and what they would find and that sort of thing. And eventually they started planting things, and they had to have some idea of when to plant so that it would grow what they wanted it to grow. And so they invented this thing we call time. We say that the earth goes in a circle in, 24 hours? Huh? So we call that 24 hours a day. But there are seasons in that turning of the earth. What makes those seasons? Why do we have rain on this day and not on the next day? What's all this about? So we've used time as a means of measuring things, and that's all that it is. It's a measurement. And if you want to get really measured, then I want you to start thinking of yourself as an eternal being, which means that you have no time. But there is a measurement that you're going to have for this existence, no matter how many other existences or non-existences you possess or be a part of. Eternity is that long, or that long, or that long. You know, they say in the Bible that a year to the Lord is like a blink of the eye or something like that. Yeah? It's always that way. We have time and we say, okay, I want to get this done, but I want it done in time. Do you know that was the most frustrating part of my industrial career was time? Why, good Lord, ladies and gentlemen, we'd get a request for proposal in, and those foolish people that sent it in would say, we want this in 30 days' time, send it back. Or if you don't get it here in 30 days, you won't even get it looked at. So, pandemonium hits the deal. We set up a group of people, we set them off on the side over here, and we start saying, okay, now you got to get your piece in, you got to get your piece in, this is the time limit for that, and but here's, and here's the schedule, and all that, blah, 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 and everybody goes crazy. And my job was to make sure that time stopped and they got it done.
Was to drive him crazy.
Margaret can tell you that there were a few days in which I was a little bit frustrated. Just a tiny bit. But time has been the bugaboo of man. But if you just reckon that there's always time to get whatever it is you want done, there's always time enough for it, then time will become unimportant to you, and you will do the job smoothly, easily, without panic, and it'll be done. But once you start putting on these time limits, people start to go crazy. Oh, I can I can remember, I'm probably out of school to say this, but we had a group of engineers that had words that nobody could understand. And they wanted those words used to send to our customer. Well, I couldn't understand the words, and my project manager couldn't understand the words. So my job was then to go turn all those crazy words into something that somebody could understand. And in a very short time, so I would take 10 pages of stuff and bring it down to 1 page, and then wait for myself to be beaten up by these people who felt like that was the only way it could be. My colleagues will think that I am not up to date. Your colleagues aren't going to read this. Some guy that ain't got no education at all is going to read this, and he wants to understand it. Come on. You know. How'd I get on that? It's time to quit, isn't it? Where was I? Did anybody remember where I was?
215 and 216.
What?
I said in between 215 and 216.
I say in some instances,
Yeah.
results will seem almost magical to appear, often where there's been a deep longing, desire for a particular good with no expectation of its realization. The addition of action will finish the project with happiest results. In fact, you're always on the right side of the law when you combine two essentials of desire and expectation. You operate a hidden intelligence that puts you in touch with the actual ways and means of materializing your desires. The principle underlying the process of attraction is as sound and as demonstrable as any principle in the science of mathematics. We will employ it every day more or less, but usually unconsciously, and therefore imperfectly. And I think we're going to stop there.